Hello, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Brigitta Toruño, and welcome to Uno Soul's Chat. Today, I am honored to be chatting with Del Martinez, an Uno Soul. He is a technology entrepreneur that has worked with nonprofits in the medical and social services industries for over 30 years. He's also the president of the Board of Imagine Wellbeing, a nonprofit here in Loudoun County, Virginia, that's very close to my heart as well. And he's a poet. Welcome, Del.
Thank you, Brigitta. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad that you're
here. Our time having a conversation.
Great. Thanks, Del. So tell me, how have you been doing through these surreal times of our pandemic?
It's I've been fortunate to be busy in dealing with the underserved and uninsured with my clients. I've been involved in a lot of frontline type of situations where when we first started all of the testing for Corona, all of those things, we popped up tents in parks and tested people en masse, and that brought technology challenges that had to be mitigated. So that was really interesting and exciting time, and scary as well, keeping everybody safe. But we had 100% rate of not getting anyone infected on the front line. So that was, all of the protocols were followed. So it was really, it was good to literally feel like we're making a difference in the communities that we were serving. So I was fortunate in that way. So that's how it affected me, but it also, the moving inside, the everybody having to isolate from each other, that definitely affected me and my family, and just like it did everyone else. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much for the work that you did, for your part that you played in getting the medical frontline people protected and having the technology that they needed. So thanks for all of that hard work. Del, I would love to hear your story, and I'm sure the listeners would too. Would you be able to share that with us?
Oh, there's a long story. I'm 56 years old almost, so but
whatever you want to share.
I'll let you in on the basically the latest. Let's see. When I started writing again, when I was younger, I had written on and off poetry, pretty much in that format, of different types of musings and writings, things like that. But I'd say I started my business. I did a lot of other things, and for 20 years I didn't write anything. So that I didn't think that was part of my life. Sometimes I even got myself saying, I wish I could write something like that. And then during probably 2018, 17, a lot of things happened. My marriage was coming to an end. My son went to college and was dealing with depression and anxiety, and came home abruptly. And just a lot of things were piling up. So I started journaling, writing things down so I wouldn't feel as frustrated, and they started to rhyme and different things. And then I found inspiration just being out in nature, being involved with Imagine. I found Imagine at that time, and it really it inspired me, and that connection to nature made it really clear. Sometimes I'd be on a hike, experiencing a nature forest soaking is what we call them. and just walking in silence, and then something, an inspiration, a word to go through my head, and I'm like, I have to write this down, or it's going to just keep going around in circles in my head. And so I'd stop and I'd pull out my phone and I'd start writing, which is my medium now.
You write on your phone?
Yeah, I write on my phone.
Okay.
In notes, and it's really it's interesting because I used to write on paper and that, but I don't feel as inspired. It's really odd.
Oh, that's
When I sit with a piece of paper, when I do it with my phone, it's just quick and I get everything out that I want to. I can't speak it. It's written.
okay.
So it's really an interesting dynamic, but I don't question, how I get it down. It's just, it's pretty fast and furious. When I write something, I was on that hike, and I was standing there for about 10 minutes on my phone, and I'm sure they were thinking, oh, this guy, is texting, thinks he's important, whatever. But it was funny. Kathy, who's the founder, one of the founders and the curator of
Kathy.
Imagine, I showed her what I had written. She's like, "You just wrote that?" So it was really funny. And I said, "Yeah, that's how it hits me, and that's how I do it. So it's not work or anything like that." And she had me read it, and then from that point on, I just kept writing. When inspiration hit me, and I think I wrote over 200 pieces probably over the last couple of years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really prolific. That's good. Yeah, thanks for
sharing. I mean, they're not all great, but they're mostly, what it is it's just for, it's for me and my perspective through, and here's Imagine some more is basically we offer yoga, meditation, all kinds of different practices that are, they are scientifically based. And in doing those different practices, I really learned about being present, about focusing and not assigning good or bad to things that I'm going through, really just experiencing what is. And through all these different practices, it really I feel more connected to everyone else in the universe, and whatever we want to call the oneness or God, and that really that changed everything. I feel that at any given time, depending on what's going on, I can access that and write something that helps me to understand it better. And it really shocks me because I'll read things and I'm like, I can't even believe I wrote that, because I wasn't thinking that, but I see it now. The words, sometimes I have to look them up because I know they're in my brain, but like I haven't used them in so long probably that I forget the total meaning. So I'm like, is that the right word? And 9 times out of 10 it is.
Like fired,
Yeah, it seems like it really feels like that. And I even wrote one early on that's called When God Writes Through You. And so it's it was more of a perspective. I'll the universe, whatever people call it. My perspective is call it God. It's easier, it's quick, and it's from my point of understanding, but it leaves room for everything out there. So in my writing, I don't edit. I don't really I don't go back and rewrite. If I'm inspired by a lot where I'm just writing, it's free flow, I'll go back to those. I'll look at them because a lot of times there's pieces of stories in there, and I'll pull them out at times and then write something else.
Yeah.
So it's such a neat exercise, and it's not what I do for a living.
Right.
And that I think is I think that keeps the sweetness of it. as
Yeah,
well.
that's great. Yeah, there's this quote by Mary Oliver, who I love, and she says, "Poetry is one of the ancient arts, and it begins as did all the fine arts within the original wilderness of the earth." And that really resonates for me now with what you said and how, how you started writing your poetry again when you were out on this hike in the
Right.
wilderness, in the woods. So, I mean, it's really amazing what being just that part, just being out in nature, how wonderful that is, and how it brought you to, I don't know, do I dare say a passion?
Yeah, definitely. That's I would definitely say it's a passion. It's
Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait to write. I
Okay,
love it when
right.
the inspiration hits.
Yeah.
And sometimes with the pain, um, it really comes on strong when things are difficult. And I'm not really, um, I don't know, I always feel inspired at those times because I can't say it inside my head as well as I can put it on, out here, and then I can look at it, and then I really get the perspective.
Nice.
Really
Really
feel
nice. Because I mean, I like what you're saying. I think that just like feelings, emotions brings the poetry on for you to get inspired and write. I think those of us that are readers of poetry, which is what I am, I'm not a poet, but I love poetry. I love to read it. And I've been reading a lot in these last few months. And it just seems like it evokes different emotions and feelings in the people that are reading it. So it could be that they're picking up on where the poet is coming from, maybe from a place of suffering or from a place of, being in beauty. And so that might be picked up, but it may mean something else completely to the person reading it, and it resonates. It resonates for, let's say, for me, one of your poems, but because of my own conditioning and beliefs and what that means to me.
that's the transportability of art and the perspective. So when we look at a beautiful painting, it means something completely different depending on who we are and the time period we're in. So art is forever. If nothing else, the feeling that it evokes, can happen at any time. That's why we have museums and old literature and those things that inspire. And I love that about it, because the further away it gets from the person who wrote it or painted it or played the music, the more pure it is for that experience of each individual.
Yeah,
I really see it as communication, throughout time rather than our words
exactly.
in the one language that we know.
Yes. Yeah. And right now with so much going on in the world, I think that, like you said before, we're all one humanity, right? And to understand that the whole world really at one point, almost, 2 years ago now, when COVID started, we were all experiencing very similar emotions, and we continue to on, on different things as well. But I do feel like poetry can help bring the world together, and maybe that's me being too altruistic or something, but I really do think that. So
I think
thank you for
that
what you're offering us.
I think if you look at the poet laureate, what she wrote
Yeah,
and recited at the
yes,
inauguration,
exactly. I
that
have the book
that is that
yeah,
I think millions of people got a lump in their throat,
yeah,
and that's amazing. And she wasn't trying for that. That came to her. That's
yes,
what she felt, and she performed that, from the heart. It was amazing. And
yeah.
I'd written
Amanda Gorman,
something.
yeah,
I'd written something before that with Amanda Gorman. I'd written something before that. It was very similar, and it was really funny because I like to hear things that sound like things that I'm writing because it helps me to feel like I'm part of that flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds a little woohoo or whatever, but it's really, that's the thing. We're so connected. We're all interconnected. And I think so many things that we have and experience and create are to mimic that, to help us. I wrote a piece, and it's not poetry, but it's just a musing about called Training Wheels. And basically, it's that, the internet, technology, our interconnectedness, all of those things are ways that we can understand how we are actually connected like that before, we evolve to those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's about evolution. It's interesting, and that's why we feel this pain. I feel, when there are wars, when there are people that are being held down, when we see these injustices, when we get this feeling in our stomach, like, what can I do because I'm one person? It's really that we're feeling that connectedness, and if we can um, get to that percentage where there's more of us believing in possibility rather than, the desperation, I think we can make a big difference in this world. So, and
Yeah,
that's a lot of the work that I'm trying to do and imagine is helping people to get past that feeling of what's the point, and with tools that they don't have access to or might not even know about. So,
right.
and at no cost. And that helps a lot,
Yeah,
especially with people who have nothing.
exactly. Yeah, that's so important. Thank you so much, Del. And um, can you talk a little bit more about Imagine? So you mentioned some of the programs that are offered either on Zoom um, or of course in nature, and also that it was no charge to attend these different events. So how can people find out more about them, and
Well,
what sorts of activities are there?
and if you can post our website, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That's basically the center point. From there, you can join meetups, which are Zoom meetings. We have meetings in nature in Northern Virginia right now, and in Washington State. Actually, we have somebody over there.
Great.
And so we're spreading wherever needed. But the virtual platform allows people to access, these different meditation practices and yoga online, things like that, from our volunteers all throughout the week. So, it doesn't matter where you are. If you have connection to the internet, you can get to it.
Mhm.
So really accessing our website would be the best way for people to get hooked into that. And it's all science-based. It's not we try and keep it very secular, and it's really nice and science-based. I think that's probably the best thing to say about it, because I know that there can be different reactions depending on people's experience in their lives. But the practices are for everyone. We have everybody from every belief system, and we actually, in our affirmations at the beginning of things, we talk about how this is for everyone, and it's a safe place. So
Yeah, yeah, I like it. Yeah, thank you for that information. And I have participated. I'm very lucky to have participated in some of the Imagine Wellbeing events, and it's a very welcoming community. Very warm and non-judgmental. So it's very nice. We'll definitely post the website. And Del, I would love it if you would be so kind as to share or recite one of your poems.
all right. So I sent you this one that was "Love in the Time of Corona." So right at the beginning of Corona, probably March timeframe. Actually March was when I wrote it. We couldn't see each other. We were looking at each other through windows. Everybody was feeling very disconnected all of a sudden, and it was just the beginning. And I wrote this and sent it, out. I had a few people want to use it, and it was put to music and fun stuff like that. So I'll share that one with you.
Okay.
So, love in the time of Corona. I hear feedback. Is that me?
I don't hear it.
Okay. Love in the time of Corona. A tree that's never had a hug grows strong and loves despite this. A man who's never had a hug, his eyes grow dull and lifeless. It seems the trees have figured out how to touch and hold their souls. They are there to show us every day the lessons we've been told. Just because I'm not here, I love you just the same. Just because you can't hear, my love for you won't change. My love is written in the stars, in the tears you cry. My love, my dear, just know I'm here. The love and grow and thrive. So it's,
that's beautiful.
It's really just telling, your mom, your sister, your brother, your friends, I'm here.
Yeah.
And the reference to the trees are things that, we've been taught that they actually are holding each other's roots. There's a whole system under the ground where they're touching each other. And it's, they feel each other. One's dying and the other one will get the energy from it. There's science that shows these things, and it's so interesting. And at that time, I had learned that, and that's reflected in the writing.
Well, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that it's your poetry, I think, is so beautiful, and I've been lucky to read some others. I was wondering, do you think that there might be a book coming with your poetry?
Yeah, I'd like to. I think enough people have asked me, and I keep sharing these, little by little, and they're like, "Well, I'm just putting a book together." So I figure I should just, get the different things and make little books. And so I'm hoping to do that as things slow down with my contracts and that probably by summer. I'd like to have something out.
That'd be great.
Especially with the ones where, like Corona, how we were all affected. It's not political. It's just how we felt. It's and the growth that we experienced. Because I think a lot of times we think that we're just being pummeled by things, but we're really growing in that time.
Yes.
There's pain, but there's growth, and it's all perspective. And I think that's such an interesting concept, and I'd really a lot of writings were born out of that, and those writings taught me. So I'd like to share those in a concerted way, so it kind of follows the timeline. So I think I'll do something with that by summer.
Great. Yeah, it's they're inspiring. Your poetry is inspiring and gives hope, which I think is just so important. Not just now, but always. Yeah.
It's always important, and I'm glad that it affects you like that and others. It's I'm humbled by being able to do this, having somebody experience something and then being able to write something to help them. It feels as good as helping somebody that's just had an accident. I just feel really blessed.
It's really a gift
to be able to experience this at this point in my life.
Absolutely. It's really a gift. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So Del, could you leave us with some words of wisdom, please?
let's see, kind of wisdom. That's I think that's it. If we can believe that in every challenge there's always possibility. If we can see the good in the bad and the bad in the good, and we can live in non-judgment a little bit more than usual. Everything's an exercise. I think we can smile a little more each day, and I think that's important. And feeling connected, and realizing that what you do isn't who you are. So
I love that. Yeah, thank you. Well, this continues to be a powerful time to love each other, to unite, and to live in peace. Thank you so much for joining me, Del. I honor the light in you.
Thank you so much for listening to Uno Souls Chat. You can find us at www.unosouls.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would love to hear from you if you would like to chat with me. Have a beautiful week and see you at the next episode.